Hello, fellow WandaVision watchers, and welcome to today's review of Episode 9, the series finale of WandaVision. Now, before we get started, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And this is your spoiler warning for WandaVision Episode 9. We're not going to talk about everything, but I'm just going to be giving you my thoughts on Episode 9 and just how incredibly wrong some of your theories were. Yeah, that's right. I'm saying your theories. Because I made some theories, and honestly, some of them panned out kind of the way I expected, but I got this one theory spot on, like dead on, that the internet is pissed about right now. But you know what? I'm happy because I was right all along. So episode 9 picks off right after episode 8, right? So Agatha is doing some crazy witchcraft right now, and then she tells Wanda that her powers is basically that she takes away witches' powers who don't deserve it. Which I had that question in the last video that I made about episode 8. I was like, well, how did she just start winning the fight, when she was getting burned at the stake? Well, no, that's her powers, that she absorbs other people's powers. And that's what she was doing to Wanda in this episode, and that's what she wanted to do to her. She wanted her powers. And I said that before. I said that in episode 8. I was like, do you guys think Agatha is a bad guy? Well, it actually turns out that she just basically is just a bad guy. But there's it's weird because she was making a deal with Wanda. She was just there for the powers, right? She didn't want to kill her or anything. She was like, oh, just give me the powers. We can make a deal. We can work this out. And then at the end of the day, she did live, I guess. I would say this was kind of a safe finale for WandaVision, right? Although it was a really sick one, action-packed, tons of emotions. I really did like this finale. But I think they played it safe with a few things, like Agatha, for example. I thought that she was going to roll over into Doctor Strange 2, right? And I think she still is going to roll over into Doctor Strange 2 because her story, the way it ended, is that she's still alive. She's just going to be in this Agnes state of form. I mean, Westview doesn't exist anymore. I mean, Westview, New Jersey still exists, but the whole bubble doesn't exist anymore. So she's just gonna be this nosy neighbor still as a personality. So maybe in the future, I feel like they're just saving her there, and Wanda specifically tells her, oh, if I need you, I know where to find you. That's basically Marvel telling you that okay, in the future, if we ever need her in any type of way, we'll know when to write her in. And then White Vision shows up. And his first look of him on the outside, in the actual world, he kind of looked like, if you ever seen behind the scenes of visual effects, the way when they're putting visual effects together, the model, let's say Thanos, right? They got to put Thanos together, completely CGI character, right? His model is always this white thing that has no texture on it, no color on it, no nothing on it. And that's what Vision looked like. He just looked like a non-CGI Vision to me when he showed up in the white, all in white. That one shot specifically. But then later, I kind of got adjusted to him, and I kind of think he actually looks kind of cool. He shows up and he tries to crush Wanda's head, and boom! Our Vision from Westview comes to save the day. And I gotta give props to this show. I gotta give props to this episode. This is where they saved the big action fight scenes, the Marvel stuff, for the very end. Because throughout the show, we haven't really had that big superhero throwdown yet, and they really saved it for the end because this episode is action-packed. Wanda and Agatha are going at it. Vision versus Vision's going at it. Even the kids get a little bit on the action. It's all coming down in this episode, and the Vision fight scenes are so cool, man. They really reminded me of these Superman, fight scenes. Superman and Zod they're floating in the air, capes are going. But the cool thing with their fight scenes is that they're punching each other, but they're phasing through each other because that's their abilities. And then they had those beams shoot at each other, and Vision's dying because the hex is going. And the way the Vision versus Vision fight scene ends is that they basically talk it out, right? Which at first I didn't know how to feel about it, but then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that no, this is probably the perfect way to end a Vision fight scene, right? Vision versus Vision. Marvel has finally found him an enemy that he could go toe to toe with, because I've said this before, in Marvel movies they just never knew what to do with Vision, especially after Ultron, right? He never really had anybody to take on, not in Civil War. In Infinity War, he was nerfed the whole time. He was wounded and he died. And then in this, series, he finally got a chance to fight somebody, got some cool action sequences out of it. And yeah, the best way I think Vision could have taken out the other Vision is by talking to him. I mean, that's his greatest strength, I think, in my opinion, is not his actual superpowers, but his intellect. He basically was like, okay, well, can't beat you, so I'm going to have to outsmart you. And they talk about pretty much their creations and who's real, who's not. And the other Vision's like, well, please elaborate on that. I want to hear more of this stuff. And listen, at the end of the day, with this whole, upload to the other Vision, and that's how the Vision character will continue living on. I like it because I'm gonna say that, like, this whole show made me appreciate Wanda more as a character, Vision more as a character. I really start to like them, And, like, yeah, I didn't want to lose Vision, but at the same time, I was saying how, like, we needed to lose Vision, right? Because that's, like, the whole point of this show, for Wanda to go through grief and loss and finally come to terms with the fact that Vision, can no longer be brought back because just because she wants to. We'll see where he goes in the future. He just flew away. We'll see what kind of personality he has. Maybe he won't have the same, attraction to Wanda as, this Vision did, because he has his memories, but he's new to everything. And this is what I'm saying with, like, this final played it safe, Nobody really died. I mean, the kids ate, like, complete dust, they completely out of there. But, like, Vision, we did lose Vision, but he also uploaded himself into another body that could live outside the Hex. The internet had a lot to say about WandaVision, the show, as it was going on, and it had a lot of things to say about the final of the show, right? People were making tons of theories about it, and this is what I gotta say to you. If you thought this final was underwhelming and the whole show just came to nothing because your theories didn't come true, well, that's on you, really. You got your hopes up too high. You thought Reed Richards was going to show up, and he didn't show up, so you think that ruined the whole show for you. Again, you were paying attention too much to theories. Theories were fun. People were making them throughout the thing. But obviously, towards the end, even the director came out and said this. Before this final came out, he came out and said, I think a lot of people will be disappointed because their fan theories are not going to come true. He acknowledged the fact that the show was surrounded by so many theories that were just not going to come true, that people were going to be disappointed. And it seems like some people at least, are disappointed because of that. And this brings me to a theory that I was spot on with. Evan Peters as Quicksilver. Now, I've said this, roll the clip.
My theory was that Evan Peters is just there for fan service. Pietro really could have been played by anybody, because in the next episode, in episode 6, he does tell her, she's like, why do you look different? And he's like, well, you might not want to be reminded of the trauma, right? So she might not even want to look at her brother's actual face. So Quicksilver could have been played by anybody because Wanda just made him, right? But I thought, okay, so Marvel, instead of just getting anybody, they got the next best thing, which is Evan Peters to be, this anybody. Just for fan service, because those who've seen the X-Men movies will go nuts.
What happened, you idiots? Huh? What, are you now upset? You don't like the final because Pietro was Ralph Boner the entire time and he wasn't Pietro from the X-Men? What, are you upset about that? Are you gonna go cry about it? No, it's your fault. It's your fault for believing all those fan theories, man. You gotta think. I've been telling you guys that he was just some random guy that could have been played by anybody else. But they picked Evan Peters for fan service. But you guys didn't want to listen to me. Mainly because I don't get views, okay? I don't get many views on my videos. But I'm right. I was right about that. And guess what? I wasn't disappointed. Ralph Boner, I actually found that pretty funny. Yep. Yep. It was funny. You know what? I thought that he was just somebody random. And they, got Evan Peters to be fan service. I thought it was just that. But they made it even better. They were like, you know what? That is correct. But there's also a dick joke involved in this. Come on. Dick joke. Ralph Boner. That's fucking hilarious. You know what scene I thought was really dope? When Wanda goes to the city square, right? And Agnes or Agatha ends up unlocking everybody's, true personalities, and they're all mad at Wanda. They are not happy. They're begging for their lives. They're telling her how they're in agony. They're experiencing her nightmares. Like, it is painful for them. Just let them go. And yeah, this is the show. The show is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted the show to make it that it's Wanda's fault. The internet was like,
no, like maybe she's being mind controlled. It's not her fault completely.
No. This is her fault exactly. Agatha all along. I don't know what that song was about because, like, okay, Agatha did send in a fake Pietro to get information, but for majority of the time she was just there observing, right, this whole Wanda thing, because then later she's like, okay, I've seen enough, I want your powers. All the citizens are telling her, dude, just kill us, please, like, this is painful, just kill us. And she's like, okay, my bad, let me just release you, opens up the Hex, and that's when Vision, starts falling. Oh, what a heartbreaking scene that was, to watch the first go of watching the kids and Vision fall apart. Great glitch effects. I already praised the CGI in this episode. They fully went ham with the budget here. Now, I have said this on the channel many times, and I have done reviews for this show, and that is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And one season in particular deals with a book called The Darkhold. It's a whole book. Ghost Rider deals with it. They bring life to, like, androids. It's a whole thing, right? And many people had speculations that the book that we saw in, like, episode 7, it was down in Agatha's cellar, right? That was the Darkhold. And she does say in this episode that it is the Darkhold. And that is yet to be seen of, like, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon to the MCU? I mean, I think it is. And Agatha even tells her, she's like, well, your powers exceed that of the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, Doctor Strange did not make a cameo in this episode. I had strong feelings that he would make a cameo in this episode, and he did not, so I got that theory wrong. But his name was mentioned, so, you know. How cool was that seeing the whole family fight side by side, right? Wanda's fighting Agatha, Vision's fighting White Vision, the kids are taking care of the military. By the way, I haven't given them a shout out yet, but the 2 kids that they cast to play the twins did a fantastic job. Congratulations, boys. You were fantastic. And you know what? If we ever do bring the kids back again, I kind of hope these 2 kids come back again, because I do think they were really, really good in this series. The military almost, or the Zord, they kind of feel like an afterthought. Tyler Hayward and him. Tyler Hayward, he just all of a sudden became a dick out of nowhere. Like, at first when we met him in episode 4, he was kind of cool to Monica. But then all of a sudden he started to become, like, more of a dick. But he always had good intentions, I guess, to, like, go to Westview and get those people out of Westview, right? He always had good intentions, I guess. Maybe not with White Vision, bringing White Vision back. And then he did shoot at Wanda's kids, so yeah, that. But his intentions were always to save the people inside of Westview, right? So Wanda is truly, like, the villain of this show, right? But because we saw her be a hero and we spent all this time with her, and we understand, where all of this kind of comes from, it still doesn't excuse what she did, but Tyler Hayward at the end of the day kind of felt like an afterthought, man. It's like Agatha is right here, and then White Vision's right behind him lining up, and then the military rolls up, and you're like,
fucking hell, where'd you guys come from? Why are you guys here, man?
I don't want to deal with you right now. Kids, the kids, go take care of them. Go take care of them right now. Go do it. It's fine. And then Wanda's like, all right, time to do my job here. I'm going to go deal with Agatha, right? And at first, she was like, oh, you want my powers? Have it. I was like, what is she doing? Is she doing, like, this whole overload thing, like, where you give her too much power and it turns out that she can't handle it? But it turns out what she was actually doing is because the hex is, like, is it a hexagon? Is it a cube? Because the way it looks like a cube, kind of. It has walls, basically, right? So she was like, okay, so those ruins that you cast in your basement, not to allow me to use magic, that I saw you use like 30 minutes ago, I'm going to use on you because I learned them somehow. I don't know how she learned them. So yeah, she makes the ruins, and it turns out that Agatha can use her powers, and then she goes full, like, Phoenix on her. Anybody else get, like, Dark Phoenix vibes from this all? She's all, like, lighting up red and changing suits. By the way, her new suit that she's going to be wearing, hopefully a lot in the MCU, her new superhero suit, the comic book accurate suit, so dope. I really like this one. This one's so cool. Wow. Dope. Personally, my favorite scenes and the best moments for this episode came at the end there. When, Wanda is like, all right, I'm done with the hex, and she starts putting the hex down, and the wall starts moving, and it starts to change everything back to how it was. And yeah, Wanda and Vision and the kids go back home, and they tuck the kids into bed, and yeah, they say their very emotional goodbyes, man. That was a tearjerker of an episode right there at the end, man. That really got me in my feels. Them saying goodbye to the kids. I mean, I knew the kids were going to go. I knew Vision was going to go. We all knew that. We made these predictions, but we were not ready for all of their great acting. Even the kids, everybody was so good. And yeah, Vision basically tells her all the things that he used to be, Jarvis, then Vision without emotions, then Vision, then, a memory that she created back in Westview. And now he doesn't know what he's going to be in the future. It's like, I don't know what he's going to be in the future. Yeah, he uploaded his memories into White Vision, but like, how is White Vision going to operate? What I always thought about Vision is that the way he started to feel emotions and crying, and the way he started to become more alive, was due to the Mind Stone's magic, right, or powers. that's how he always, started to get more emotions and fall in love and become more human. But this Vision, the White Vision, doesn't have the Mind Stone. So are we just gonna ignore that? Or am I completely wrong? The Mind Stone is not what gave him life or gave him the human qualities. It's something completely different that I'm wrong about, and he actually doesn't need the Mind Stone to understand humans. Is that what it is? But yeah, Vision basically tells her that, you'll see me in the future. And they're keeping Paul Bettany around. Paul Bettany is the longest MCU cast member, man. He was there all the way in Iron Man 1 with Jarvis. And, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. has moved on. And who knew that from that movie, Jarvis would be the longest lasting cast member in the MCU, man. And yeah, it looks like we'll see him in the future again, which again, I'm excited for. But that was a very emotional goodbye. Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany were fantastic in that scene. And just like that, Vision and the house and the twins were gone. But Westview's still there. The citizens are there. They are traumatized by all of this. They will remember this for the rest of their lives. They'll have to go to therapy for this. And I love how Wanda is doing this thing where she puts the hoodie on and she's like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. They're all mad at me. And she walked in the street and everybody was surrounding her. And I thought she was about to be like, okay, guys, let me give a group speech here. Let me apologize to you all. What she did was ignore everybody who she put through pain, walk up to Monica, out of everybody, who was in the hex for a little bit. I guess she was in a little bit of pain. But she got kicked out. She got superpowers from the whole thing, so she benefited from it, to be honest. And then she was like, you're not mad at me? Why would you ask her if she's mad at you? I mean, I guess I would understand why you would ask her, but she had no real reason to be mad at you. She was on your side the whole time. She got out of the hex mad early. She got superpowers from the whole thing. You shouldn't be asking her if she's mad at you. You should be looking at everybody else around you and being like, are you guys mad at me? Can you guys not be mad at me? Can we just all be friends here? I found it so funny that instead of apologizing to everybody else, she apologized to the one person who experienced not even the same level of pain that everybody else experienced, but also got superpowers from the whole thing. Then the mid-credit scene was Monica, and the scroll was like, okay, well, we've seen enough here. You've been grounded for a while. He wants you up in space. Who is the he? I don't know. Is it the scroll leader Talos? That's his name, I think. The Australian guy. Does he want her up in space, or is it Nick Fury? Because we did see in Spider-Man Far From Home that he was up in there. And in Spider-Man Far From Home, we also did see the Skrulls again. So we're seeing more Skrulls. We're probably going to see more Skrulls and credit scenes in Marvel movies. But yeah, now Monica is going to space, and we'll see what lies in her future, right? I'm thinking Captain Marvel 2. Most definitely Captain Marvel 2. I'm not sure where else she would fit in, or what other adventures they might take her on. Maybe the Nick Fury show. Isn't he getting his own show? Maybe there. But I'm thinking Captain Marvel will probably see her again. We have to. We have to see grown-up Monica talk to even more grown-up Captain Marvel and see what their interactions are like. Okay, so I made this reference earlier and I said, did anybody get Dark Phoenix vibes, right? From her exploding and transforming into her suit. But did anybody get X-Men 2 vibes from that last post-credit scene? Come on. Alkali Lake? That looked just like it. I mean, again, they're not doing the X-Men thing, but it just reminded me of the X-Men. Guys, this is not a theory. This is not a theory that we're doing X-Men. This is not. I'm just saying, did anybody else get X-Men 2 vibes from this, right? We pan in, looks like Alkali Lake. She's chilling by a lake in a hut. I think this is where knowing your Marvel music is great, because I believe the music that plays there right at the end as we, reveal that she's sitting there learning the Darkhold, I think that's Doctor Strange's music, right? From his movie? I'm pretty sure it's Doctor Strange's music. If it is, yeah, that's your tying into Doctor Strange 2. We didn't get a Doctor Strange cameo, but that's basically saying, well, in the future, this is what we're doing. And Doctor Strange better have a good-ass excuse of why he wasn't there for the Hex, why he never detected that the Hex happened. He has no excuses. He lives in New York City. This was taking place in New Jersey. It's an hour drive. Come on, bro. How did you not detect that? Give me a good excuse. Give me one. Come on. Give me one good excuse. What were you doing? Protecting our reality? From what? Our reality was already getting fucked by Wanda. What are you doing? Huh? Explain yourself. But this series finale was sick, action-packed, full of emotions, fantastic. And just in general for WandaVision, to wrap it all up, I think WandaVision is a great show gave me more than I expected. I actually didn't expect much from it. I did not walk into this hyped at all, but I'm walking out of it hyped as hell for the future of these two characters. It made me love Vision and Wanda more as characters, made me understand them more. This is, again, what these TV shows will do. They'll make us like these side characters who didn't get much screen time in the movies, let them time to shine so we like them more. WandaVision is not a perfect show. I think it does have some pacing issues. I felt like there were areas that they could have used the time to provide us with a little bit more information, so there at the end we would have had more of a smoother landing, because I thought the final was super sick, but it did leave that lingering feeling of like some things felt like they were unanswered there at the end. And I think that's due to the pacing sometimes. But in general, the show was super sick, kept me entertained throughout the whole show, and I'm super excited for the future of Wanda, White Vision, see where it all goes. And yeah, with all of this being said, I'm going to give WandaVision a big W. This is one of the most unique entries in the MCU, and they nailed it. And yeah, it was a great fun mystery that fueled tons of fan theories that were pretty much all wrong. It always kept us on our toes every Friday, and the final, I think, was fantastic. I love the creativity in the show, jumping different sitcom decades. I could tell they had so much fun with it, to mess around with a bunch of different things. And when it came time to it, they didn't disappoint with the Marvel action. The CGI was great. The writing on the show was beautiful. It's a very emotional story. Made me really care about their relationship. WandaVision is a great first entry into this very weird next stage of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? What is Phase 4, Phase 5? Who's the next big bad guy? Are we doing multiverses, different realities? Like, this is the perfect first entry into this new era of Marvel after Thanos and the Infinity Stones. But for now, if you enjoyed today's review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.